looking back at the Merrimack film, I think we saw a number of opportunities that we left out there, really in all three sides of the ball. Defensively, we did a really great job against the run. We just shot ourselves in the foot time after time in the pass game, whether it was missed tackles, we had a couple busted coverages, and allowed for some big plays. I think it's one thing if somebody's going to complete a pass on you, but we have to make a tackle and live to fight the next down, and we did not do that very well Saturday night. I think offensively, we were able to consistently run the ball. Unfortunate part is, when we were able to try to continue drives in third down passing situations, we weren't able to kind of move the chains and continue it. And obviously, for us, we're trying to play complementary football. That comes with being able to flip the field and control field position with special teams, moving the chains and prolonged drives on offense, and defensively being able to get stops and create good field position for our offense. And we haven't put it all together for a complete game yet, so that's something we're still striving to do and helping each other out in all three sides. We have a young roster, a young team, and we have some young guys playing, and it's good to see that drive and that competitiveness regardless of the score or the outcome. We talk to our guys in preseason. It's something we kind of say all the time is, true competitors compete regardless of the score. And our guys are showing that they are true competitors. The execution hasn't, been at the most desirable level at all times, but the drive and the hunger and the passion and the hustle has been there. So we just need to continue to fight to clean up, the little things that will lead to better execution. And obviously it's understanding situational football and tendencies and all those things come into it. We haven't executed consistently on all three sides of the ball for an entire game. So for us, it's one thing to have the fight and the effort piece, but also what happens in between the whistles has to be cleaned up for us to be successful. Third downs are going to be kind of twofold. One is, what is the actual situation? If you're doing a good job against the run like we were for the most part Saturday night, you're able to create some third and longer situations from a defensive perspective, where you can start to attack protection and maybe bring some pressure and play some softer coverage and put the pressure more so on the offense. And when we did that Saturday, we just did not execute up to our level or up to our par. And that was what was most disconcerting for us defensively. Third down was just the execution. Some of it, we did exactly what we want to do. We forced the ball to be thrown underneath the sticks, and we just didn't rally up and make tackles. Some of them, we had a couple penalties that put us in some bad situations as well, or poor contain on the quarterback and allowing him to scramble. And when you allow a good football player to do that, they make plays. And then obviously on the flip side, offensively, you want to put yourselves in third and manageables, where you still have the threat to run or throw the football. So obviously we're trying to gain 3 or 4 yards or more on first down, cut it in half in second down, and then put ourselves in a really manageable third down. And then we have to execute. We have to understand what coverages we're going to get from a defense, how they're going to try to attack our protection. Being able to protect the quarterback and get the ball out on time and get open against that coverage. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. Some of it is game planning. Some of it is the execution on first and second down. And then obviously it comes down to the execution on third down. So there's a lot of little pieces that go into it. It's not, there's no one issue to point to of why we were inconsistent in that situation on both sides of the ball. Brian Kearns has just obviously been a workhorse for us his first 3 years here on campus, and I think the really great thing about the way he runs the football is it provides momentum. You hear our guys on the sideline getting up for him even when it's a 5-yard gain, because he will turn something that's not there into a 5-yard gain. And he does have the ability to break those tackles in the hole and run tough in between the tackles. But also when he gets into the second and third level, to be able to run away from people. So we've seen that to this point in his career too. So, I think he's one of the best running backs, in the league. And I think most coaches would agree, and he has the stats to back it up. So he's somebody that we definitely rely on, and he really helps us provide balance on the offense, but also provide momentum as a football team. When you can hand the ball off consistently and get at least 4 yards, you've got something pretty special there. Nate Bresson's played a lot of football for us since he got here on campus. He started every game as a freshman. He's such a tremendous worker. He's a really intelligent football player. We ask him to do a lot. We move him around a little bit. He plays on the edge. He does a great job of making plays against the run for us. He's tough to solo block. He's probably tough to double team as well, and he uses his strength and his athleticism to his benefit, and he's able to make a lot of plays on their side of the line of scrimmage, which really helps us out. When you can create negative plays, it kind of kills the momentum or the procedure of an offense. So he was able to do that a couple times on Saturday night, and he's done it consistently throughout his career. He's really strong, really passionate football player, and he's a really tough kid. So he's somebody that people gravitate towards his style of play and how he goes about his business. Every time that we play Bentley in any sport here at Stonehill, it's a big deal. I know it's a big deal on their side of things as well. Obviously, it's family weekend, and we're at their place, and we had a really crazy game against them last year here. So we're excited to, one, play another football game, to get back out there and compete. And the fact that it's against Bentley is just even more of an added bonus because it's something that our alumni bases, both sides, are very passionate about. Whenever you talk to alums and they ask how your season went or is going, they always ask, when is the Bentley game, or how did you do against Bentley? So it's obviously something that's very tangibly important to everybody that's come through our program, and a lot of eyes will be on this weekend, and it'll be a great atmosphere, I'm sure, and we're excited to go there and compete against them and to add another year to this rivalry. With what Sam Matthew has done here in his short time here already on campus has obviously been impressive, and his brother Nick has had a great career at Bentley as a captain, and they play the same position, so that adds a little something to it too. I joked around with Sam yesterday asking him which side of the field his parents were going to be sitting on, and it's his brother's senior year, so he thinks they might be on the home sideline. But I think it's cool that obviously they went to high school together and played together in high school, and now the last 2 years have been able to compete against each other at the college level. Not only at the college level, but at two schools that are already rivals. So I'm sure this will add a little extra bragging rights at the Thanksgiving table after the season. But I think it speaks volumes for the level of football, the high school program of Holliston High School that they came from. Also, their father being a defensive coordinator, and to have two sons, that are playing against each other at the safety position at a high level of football at two great schools. I think there's a lot that you can contribute to the way that they were brought up and the type of family that they come from. Offensively, Bentley's been interchanging two quarterbacks for the majority of the year. They had a freshman that played a lot last year and played really well. That's played a decent amount, the majority of the snaps this year. Running back, they've got two talented tailbacks, one who's a little bit thicker that we saw last year as a freshman, another one that's a junior that's had a couple really good games here recently. Offensively, they've got some talented wide receivers with some great length. If you look out at their wide receiver depth chart, they've got a couple of slot receivers, but then they've got 4 or 5 guys that are all 6'3", 6'4", that are going to go up and compete for the football and can use their body, as a shield for defenders. So they do a great job of attacking you in some different ways offensively, inside out with a run game, and also on the perimeter with the run game and the dual purpose. So we have a lot to try to manage in terms of alignments and motions and formations that we're going to get from them. Defensively, they were usually primarily a 3-down front. We've seen some more 4-down from them. They do a great job in terms of limiting big plays. They've struggled a little bit against the run this season, but they're one of the top pass defenses in the country, the tops in our conference. So they do a good job of being able to account bodies for bodies or hats for hats. And they've got some really talented players out on the perimeter that allow them to dictate coverage based off your formation. So we just have to do a great job of establishing the run and being able to attack them in the pass game when it's there. I mean, they're extremely sound in what they do coverage-wise. It's not overly complicated, but they can make it look complicated. And I think that's where they have the advantage over some quarterbacks, because sometimes it can be hard to diagnose what coverage you're seeing, and you're going to get rotation on the fly, and kind of force them into thinking that something's there that's not. And for them, sometimes it's just window dressing. It's just them doing the same thing over and over again, just with a different look to it, which I think that allows their kids to play fast and to make a lot of plays doing it. biggest thing for us offensively is establishing the run. You know, it's a team that has struggled against the run, and we've had success running the football, so we need to continue that. Third down, like we mentioned earlier, on both sides of the ball is going to be a huge key. We need to get stops defensively and get ourselves off the field. We can't allow them to prolong drives, and for us, we need to prolong drives by continuing to convert third downs. Special teams wise, we got to come up with a big play. We got to play consistently. We have to play mistake-free from a mental standpoint, but we need to come up with some big plays, some field shifters for us that can really gain momentum.